So my room is essentially a sweatbox because my computer's like rendering everything and melting my face off. But anyway, spawning down here in the bottom side of the map here on Daybreak, the decrepit old map that is still somehow being played. No, I'm just kidding. It is pretty old though. We have spawning in for XT, who's currently up. Let's see, they're up 3-1. We have a pause, but we have Cowman down here. Now up here in the top part of Daybreak, playing for Team Elite, and they are down. They only have one win so far. It is GuNsHy. Pretty cool name. Or maybe his name is Ushi, if you go off the capitals first and then the other ones there. That is of course entirely made up, but we'll have to see. We are just waiting on this pause to finish. And alright, starting up. I actually haven't seen GuNsHy play at all. So like I've never seen him playing in any of his games or anything like that. Throughout the tournament so far. I think I've only casted Team Elite once, I want to say, total. So that's pretty interesting. We'll have to see if he's going to be able to pull it out. What's his build? He's not going Reaper Expand, it doesn't look like. Chat is saying he cannot be stopped. We'll have to see about that, I think. Okay, let's see. Down here. Alright, nothing too exciting going on down here. Just building some probes. Got the racks going up. Yeah, no, nothing crazy. Nothing crazy at all. So, Cowman, I haven't seen him play anything but PvP, I don't think. Maybe last week he played something else, but I don't remember. I'm pretty sure all I've seen him play is PvP. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure if you made bang noises, he would be very afraid, as he is, of course, GuNsHy. Alright, so we have, oddly, the cybernetics core going down there in the south. I'm really not sure what that's about. It's kind of weird building placement, trying to deny some scouting, maybe, but I mean, who's not going to have a cybernetics core? I'm not really sure why you would hide that in the south. But, normally want to keep it like kind of in the center of your base to make it less vulnerable to drops. Because right here, it's pretty vulnerable to drops, especially on Daybreak, because you're just like, oh, sprint in, drop, boom, pick it off, peace, you're out of here. So that might come into play later in the game. Oh, we have a reactor going down, actually, up here. So that's weird. Is it going to be some type of marine? Why is the factory not started? Okay, we have an engineering bay that's blocking the expansion down here. SCV, this is a bad idea. You should leave now. Okay, yeah. He is about to get swiped in the face and die, but he barely gets away. Off back onto his home he goes. Okay, we have a command center going up. So you're just going to have a lot of Marines and put them in bunkers, and he's going to use that to defend. I was getting pretty confused as he still has guys in gas, which is a little confusing to me. But, okay, there's a factory. It's making slightly more sense now. I guess he was being micro-intensive across the map. Both of the players banking a little bit of minerals. There's the robo going down. I've noticed the Protoss is, so far this evening, really like gateway expands into a robo just to get the scouting information to be safe. This is only the second Terran we've had this evening though, I think. So. Alright, what's he going to follow this up? Is he going to start upgrades? Is he going to go for some type of timing? Is he going to start a third? Is he going to just drop a reactor on this and start going for drops? Are more Raxes coming down? I'm not sure. I would think that more Raxes would have to come down, but I mean he hasn't really revealed anything yet. I'm not sure if he's going to be going for. Okay, there's the armory, so he might be just going mech. And I've actually seen mech on Daybreak quite a few times. just because there's like really good paths that they have to walk through. The issue, of course, is that it's really easy to drop the main on Daybreak compared to a lot of other maps. There's just a lot of space to drop, so that can always be really worrisome, especially versus mech, until Thors are out and kind of positioned to blow away medvacs really fast. And in those situations, by the time Thors are out, you're going to be moving towards your third. It's going to be really hard to defend with Thors back home. That's just way too much supply tied up, so got to build a lot of turrets. It becomes kind of a dangerous situation. And I say all this just because Warp Prism buffs, it's really dangerous. Got to be really careful. Our expansions are up and running for both players right now. 35 probes to 26 SCVs, but I'm sure more production will be coming in here for GuNsHy. And he has those mules to help equalize a little bit in the meantime. We got Widow Mines, we have a starport about to finish. We don't have any additional Raxes being started though. His production is just very, very low over here on GuNsHy's side of the map. And in the meantime, we now have, alright, we have 2 gateways and a robotics bay over here for Cowman. So his is also really low. Just look like both players just like kind of want to macro up, get ready for some late game. Though no third is being started for either player. So it might be that they're actually both just relying on some type of 2-base timing. Very interesting. I do not think I've seen, in a while at least, the Terran 2-base timing against Protoss. Protoss, yes. Protoss all the time, 2-base timings. Terran on versus Protoss? Not generally. Okay, we have units being warped in, getting ready for this drop. He saw it because of that Oracle, so he's going to be in a very solid position, at least as far as that goes. He's positioning those 2 Stalkers, probably going to be ready to pull them at a moment's notice if he's paying attention. We have another observer going in. It's actually going to see the 3rd command center being started. That's really, really important information. That lets them know that it's not going to be some type of 2-base all-in, which I was saying would be really, really weird. Or just like a big 2-base timing. And that medvac was like, oh, well, I guess I must have gotten spotted. I'm out of here. And it boosts Sun out. It's going to live. I think its best bet is actually just to take control of this, take control of this watchtower, get good information that way, but not try and engage per se. Yeah, there we go. It's going to leave 1 Marine there. And now he has both watchtowers. And it looks like he might want to try and drop the 3rd. I'm sorry, the 4th. 3rd looked like it was trying to get started, but it does get picked off. There's a Marine there. A unburrowed Widow Mine. Always very useful. There's a Colossus out over here now for XC though. So let's see. Siege Tank. Very interesting. Alright, we got Siege Tank Raven. Siege Tank Raven is always interesting to see. Kind of the old 1-1-1 style. In this case, though, it's going off of a 2-base. A lot of players are using these for contains these days as well. After, who did MVP do it versus? As a Protoss. Let's say MVP did it near the end of WCS Europe last season, season 1. I really can't remember. Okay, so he went ahead and cleared out the 1 Widow Mine and Marine, so he was able to get his 3rd started up here. Of course, he did know that the 3rd was being built up here for GuNsHy, so that's why he went ahead and did that. And yeah, we got full mech going on here. Wow, really interesting. You really, really don't see this too often. There's a lot of Marines out in the field. I'm trying to think of the good positions for engaging against mech. Really the big thing you want as a Protoss when you're engaging against mech is you want multiple angles, so that way the siege tank shots are very, very spread out. You know, the Hellbots have to spread out a little bit thinner. Colossus are firing in multiple directions. You know, all that good stuff. Or I'm sorry, Colossus are hitting the main part while Zealots flank, but you know what I meant. Now, Hellbat production is on the way. Viking production is going, which is good. I mean, there's 2 Colossus. He definitely wants to start pumping out Vikings. The worker count is again in Cowman's favor. His macro is very, very good. I have noticed that. Every single game we see with Cowman, he's almost always up on probes by more than just like muling worth of being up. Though this is pretty close. It's only about like 3 or 4 workers count as a mule essentially. So, oh, now we have more probes coming out though, so not really as close anymore. Psionic Storm going down. Zealot charge, armor. This is exactly what most professional TOS will do when they see mech. They're like, alright, well, I guess I kind of got to get everything, but Storm and... oh wow, he actually canceled legs. Zealot legs. He's going to be going for Blink, but Storm is a very, very big one that you want when you're versus mech, because you can rip through a lot of the Hellbats. You can, you know, feedback things. You can... that's Storm on tanks, which are immobile, so you know they're going to take the full amount of damage. Feedback the Ravens in this case. Oh, wow, that actually got picked off, and now this entire army is exposed, and it looks like these Vikings are going to be able to clean up the Colossus. One of them going down. The other one looks like it might get chased. Hunter Seeker going down on the Colossus. I don't think it's... oh, Hunter Seeker falls down. Wasn't quite close enough. These Vikings are going to chase it down, and both Colossus end up dying because of that snipe on that mothership core. Very nicely done. Cowman is now in a really, really fragile position. A push out here out of GuNsHy is probably going to take this game. That was crazy. All right, we have a big pull of SCVs. They're going to be here for repairing / tanking a little bit of damage. They really need to start the repairs. Those Hellbats in the front, and these Vikings are a little bit busted up here. Without charge, I feel like this is going to be extremely, if not impossibly, difficult to hold. There are 7 gateways coming down behind this, so if he can survive just a little bit longer, he's going to be able to just drop a ton of units out. But so now he's setting up these Zealots for the flank. He's going to let it go in. Now these Zealots are going to want to engage. Oh, nope, the Thors are going to get up the ramp. Definitely be the point when you want to engage. Lots of good storms going down. SCVs all repairing each other though, but a lot of the army taking a ton of damage. Void Ray out on the ground, and these are not in anti-air mode, but Vikings ripping through that pretty easily. And now repair going down on these siege tanks, which have sieged up. Immortal coming down, attacking from multiple angles here, exactly what you want to do. And GuNsHy looks like he's going to get cleaned up by all these charge lots. I guess charge had just finished, and that's when Blink started. My apologies on that ignorance. Whew. That was a little ridiculous. Okay, so great setup there by Cowman. He hit it from multiple angles. Really, really took that down nicely. Now we got Ghosts, Thors, Vikings, and Hellbats starting over on the other side of the field. Ghosts is an interesting choice. Those are, of course, to deal with the High Templar as their purpose in this situation. Cowman dropping a pylon at the 4th. His 4th is actually already on its way. Like I said, his macro is very, very good. He's dropping pylons all over the map. Has observers everywhere in all these paths. So he's really setting up, looking like he might be able to take this game now. I thought GuNsHy had a really, really good position, but the macro and the 7 gateways finishing up near the end of that attack really helped Cowman hold on. But GuNsHy's macro is no slouch. He's up right now in everything because of mules. And he is not behind more than the number of orbitals times 3 or 4. So that's why he is actually ahead on income right now. We had the 4th starting down there in the south position for GuNsHy. Hellbats maintaining control of that tower. The 4th is now done up here for Cowman. Again, displaying that awesome macro. He is starting +2 weapons, +1 shield, +1 air weapons, building more Void Rays, building a Dark Shrine. So I'm not sure if that's going to be used for Archons or if that's just going to try and be used to task the tasking of the opponent / take out a lot of stuff. Is it laggy? I'm sorry. I might restart the stream after this game if it's still being laggy. I am headed towards being tired very, very swiftly right now. Okay, is he going to be able to get in and take out this missile turret? Oh, he gets it. He takes out that missile turret. And 2 scans went down somewhere, but I have no idea where they are, so now there are no scans. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh, there's the Raven. Or something. How did he see that? Okay, there's another scan. Now that was from this orbital. And are there more DTs around anywhere? No, okay. Not anywhere slicing stuff up. We got some turrets coming down here. It's gonna, and a sensor tower that's gonna block the Zealots from just walking in. It's their purpose and the way they are lined out. That is a lot. That is a lot of Vikings. There's actually a lot of Vikings. And there's only 3 Void Rays, so those Vikings are gonna melt the Void Rays and the Colossus. I mean, you know, prismatic alignment is really good. Don't get me wrong, but I don't think it can take on quite that many Vikings. It's really hard to take on 12 Vikings with 3 Void Rays. And I know they're OP, but I don't think they're quite that bad. So let's just see. Zealots are about to be... They're 3-1-2. That's insane. And we have Tempests coming out on the field right now. Tempests are a pretty solid unit. I'm trying to think. They do bonus damage to Massive, which Thors should be still. So I would assume they're very good versus Thors. They actually outrange the convert to stomp your face mode that Thors do have. And that, of course, is called high impact payload. Just so we're clear, it's not actually called stomp your face mode, but it effectively means that. And we got some good snipes and EMPs on the High Templar over here. Now there's only one of them with enough energy. It does get a really, really good storm, though. All the Vikings actually taking a lot of damage. Void Rays running up. They're probably going to get melted, though. And it looks like Cowman might be falling here. Because Immortal's dealing a lot of damage to the Thors down here on the ground, though. And he does have counterattacks going in the 3rd and 4th bases over there. And the Dark Templar is actually dealing massive amounts of damage. There's no scan going down. Wow, these Dark... Okay, there's the scan. I was going to say, those Dark Templars, they did an inordinate amount of damage for their cost. It's very, very good there by Cowman. And he trashed this mineral line over here at the 3rd, though it looks like some SCVs were saved. What's the kill count right now? Wow, 44 killed here by Cowman. And is now down to 47 versus 73. 3rd over here is entirely unpopulated by SCVs. The 4th, very thinly populated. We got a transfer over here from the main, it looks like, though. They drop in here. All the Vikings. I think he overproduced Vikings a little bit. I think is the issue in that fight. If he had just a few more Thors, would have probably carried that pretty easily. And then another scan probably would have helped too. But not much of an army. Right? Wow, carriers. What? This is insane. This game is crazy. I'm trying to think. Was it... Who went 3-3-3-3-3-3? Wait, that's too many threes. 5 threes. 2 air... sorry. Air attack, air armor, shields, ground attack, ground armor, and then overlapping with shields. Someone did it last week. Who was it? Was it Cowman? I think it might have been. And he did bust out carriers, which is really something you don't see very often. He has a graviton catapult. I think the carriers may be the worst possible choice and his only chance of actually losing this game. Honestly, I thought he was in a really, really good position after destroying all that. But I don't think carriers are what you want to be going for when there's that many Vikings out on the field, plus that many Thors, because the Thors are going to rip through interceptors really, really bad with their AoE shots. As those group up to attack one unit, they're going to get blasted so hard. I feel like this is like the perfect counter army to carriers. I don't know. This is going to be a crazy engagement, that's for sure. I feel like one side is going to melt really, really quickly. We actually don't really have that much of an army over here for Cowman. I feel like GuNsHy is being really, really passive because he thinks he's really far behind, right? He lost all those workers. He's starting to get back there. You know, he's really been focusing on getting his macro back up. But for a while there, okay, we have some drops and stuff going down over there. But for a while there, you know, he was really, really far behind in workers, so he was worried about that, so he focused his production towards that. But now he doesn't realize how far ahead he is on actual army. Although there's good pulling and stuff, there actually wasn't a lot of army behind that, and the reinforcements out of GuNsHy maybe would have been enough to deal a ton of damage. We have a massive Zealot warp in here in the main. Dark Templars being morphed in, Warp Prism being instantly melted. All the add-ons are actually going down here for GuNsHy, which is not a good situation. Everything kind of being lifted here. Alright, now we have the Zealots charging into Vikings. The one thing Vikings are actually good at killing on the ground is Zealots. Because they have that +2 armor, which really, really helps in this situation. And they can actually trade kind of efficiently versus it. Dark Templars denying the 5th down there. And getting some nice supply depot kills over here. The Rexes over here are going to die. They need to be repaired. Wow, he calls down 4 mules to repair. That's pretty crazy. He's going to keep those alive, though. Supply depot does go down. His supply is almost at cap now that those supply depots are dying. Add-on almost going down, but all the add-ons for the factories did go down except for these front 2. So it's a pretty big win harassment-wise there out of Cowman, but we'll have to see if he can turn that into an advantage. Whew, I need more caffeine. It's a pretty interesting mix we got over here. It's a lot of ghosts. Still more Vikings being produced. I don't know, has he scouted those at all?
Base is under attack.
I don't think he has, but the multi-drops and just multi-pronged harassment in general, just going strong down here. There's some in the main, there's some in the south. Add-on getting picked off. Another scan actually being forced on the Dark Templar in the north. Oh, he turned around and decided to get shot in the face. Dark Templars look like they flat out killed that command center. Never fun. Alright, so the carriers. Are they noticed? Are they scouted at all? No. Okay, he doesn't know anything about the carriers. But where's the fleet beacon? Did he scan it at some point? Okay, the fleet beacon's way over there. Let's see if... Yeah, no, he has no idea at all. Pretty interesting. Scans going out on the field, trying to see what's going on as far as army. He's not actually going to see anything. Dark Templars slicing away at this armory. They're going to get the one that was working on the upgrade, though, I mean, it wasn't very, very far along, but still never fun to lose that. It looks like they might get the second armory. Armories actually take a decent amount of time to build, so that's a pretty big bummer to lose 2 like that. We had another Warp Prism warp in here in the bottom right. Also not successful, though. Hellbat's very, very good defending it. Alright, let's see. I mean, he's just ripping apart with these drops. You gotta abuse the immobility of mech. As soon as they're out in the middle of the map, just gotta pick them off. Pick off all these buildings back at home. And again, another Warp Prism looks like it's gonna die to Vikings. But there's a decent amount unloaded here on the ground. And these Vikings are landing right on top of Zealots, which you don't really want to do. Now Dark Templar are going to need to be running for their lives, as they're all going to die. But a lot of production being killed off here. I think 3 factories that were right here, at least 2 did go down. Okay, here's one that's slowly burning to death, does need to get repaired. And in the meantime, in the bottom right, Immortal's just walking up with some Void Rays, and they're like, what's up? What's up, Hellbats? You can't do nothing. Ridiculous damage to light actually doesn't really help you versus me. So the Void Rays / Immortals, the building crushing crew, are just going to keep stomping on. Whew, okay. He just wants to free up this supply. And if you were GuNsHy, you'd probably be like, oh, not really sure why you're trading that. It's a little scary. GuNsHy's army is really built to take on Colossus Immortal Templar, which is the really common build for mech. He's also, though, I mean, he's pretty well set for taking on all these carriers there down in the bottom right. Wow, all of those getting into the red and orange. This 6th base is going to get denied. He will not finish. It's going to start it again, though. This Hellbat's very upset about that and lights the probe on fire for its insolence. It says, hey, I just went through the trouble to take this down. Then you just start building it again? I don't think so. Alright, SCV is being moved over to repair. It's a good call. Alright, I think carriers were just revealed on a Hellbat, which is awkward. Most of the time you don't reveal a million carriers on a Hellbat. Now these are 3-3-1 carriers, but those Vikings, I don't know. Like I was saying earlier, I think this is really the only situation you can lose as a Protoss when you go carriers. Oh, when you're that far ahead. And not to say the carriers are bad, but they're not a good choice when your opponent has been maxing Vikings / Thors. So we'll have to see if he's actually able to take an engagement before, I die from lack of caffeine. Which, I mean, it could happen. I'm throwing that out there. That's a possibility. Warp Prism's being moved around the map right now, trying to get into positions. There's a little bit of harassment over there at the 3rd yet again. Seems like there's always some flashing attacks going on somewhere on the map this game. That's a lot of Ghost Academies, which means a lot of nukes, which I'm not really sure. I mean, I guess they're good versus carriers. Carriers are very slow, but I still feel like it's a little bit ambitious. We have the Warp Prism up there in the main of GuNsHy's base. It did get picked off by these turrets, though. Tried very, very hard. Another turret is picking off this other one, though. This turret goes down. Dark Templar are starting to swipe away at these Ghost Academies that are building nukes, trying to prevent them from getting a bunch out. 2 scans wasted, though. It's a pretty good pull. Alright, he's going to repair that as that first nuke is nearly done. And from very, very far away, he just got shut out. Yeah, I feel like Thors are probably going to crush this. Alright, let's see. Let's see how good these EMPs are. Okay. EMP's pretty decent. All these interceptors dying really, really fast. Vikings not focus firing, though. Alright, there goes a carrier. Here come a few more going down. Alright, carrier's pretty strong. None of these swords are actually in the AoE damage mode. So because they're focusing interceptors, that's not a good thing. If they had been in the AoE damage mode when that battle started, I think the interceptors would have melted very, very quickly. Instead, just too many interceptors stuck around, making that engagement way too cost efficient for Cowman. And now it's going to be going into game number 6 with XT up 4-1, actually. They only need one more game to close out this series, which would be pretty interesting and would allow me to not pass out from heat exhaustion. We'll have to see what goes down in game number 6 coming up here in just a